To recap, as predicted in the visions of John in Revelation 12, 13, and 17, Rome is represented by 3 different phases through history. In all this, you see the 3 phases of history, the 3 powers that Satan brought against the church between the first advent of Christ and the second coming. The first is pagan Rome, the second is the apostate church, the third is the power that is used against the remnant. The dragon beast in Revelation 12 is symbolic of Rome from its beginning to the end of time, with main emphasis on pagan Rome, and the 7 heads were 7 different forms of government which ruled no other kingdom but Rome, namely kings, consuls, decemvirs, dictators, triumvirs, emperors, and popes, as the forms of Roman government represented by the 7 heads of the dragon of Revelation 12. It was shown through the prophetic principle of repeat and enlarge that when the 7th form of government in the first phase of Rome, the papal head, assumes the control of the 7 hills of Rome, Revelation 13 enlarges the reign of that head and continues the timeline in the 2nd phase of Rome, covering the complete papal reign until the second coming of Christ. This brings us to the last phase of Rome in Revelation 17, the revived papal empire. This chapter predicts the 3rd and final phase of Rome after the head wound is healed in 1929, till the 8th king in that procession leads the world to perdition. But in this vision during the time of the 8th king, covered later, the Vatican is a worldwide superpower, leading other nations and churches to do her bidding, and the 7 heads are no longer nondescript. There are characteristics given to them all. This phase of Rome began between World Wars I and II when Mussolini rebuilt Rome in the Vatican grounds and renovated mysterious treasures to heal the deadly wound, once again establishing the Pope as a sovereign king. Catholic faithful call February 11th Independence Day. On the anniversary of that event, February 11th, 2013, Benedict XVI, the 7th papal king since that treaty, retired because he must remain a short time. It is one of the leading doctrines of Romanism that the Pope is the visible head of the universal Church of Christ. He demands the homage of all men, and vast numbers are ready to yield him homage. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. Notice in this map that the Church of Rome sits on Rome, the city of 7 hills. This church is now once again an empire, and she sits above the city which used to be an empire. And the prophecy in question states, "And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth." Rome has been called the city of 7 hills since before becoming the imperial city. Then Revelation 17 continues to say, "And they, the 7 heads, are 7 kings. 5 are fallen." The Bible never gives symbolic meaning to interpreted texts. For example, further in Revelation 17, verse 15 says, "The waters you saw where the prostitute sits are peoples, multitudes, nations, and languages." So the interpretation has been given. The waters are diverse peoples covering the whole world. So in that same chapter, when the 7 heads are 7 hills and 7 kings, this cannot be interpreted symbolically because the interpretation is given. The first heavenly translated interpretation given of the 7 heads refers to the geographical hills that it sits on. The second translation given for the 7 heads is the title of king, the head of state for the beast. So the 7 heads are 7 kings which come from the 7 hills, or more specifically, the 7 last popes of Rome, the geographical area of the ancient Roman Empire. 5 are fallen, meaning before the day John is witnessing in vision, the 5 previous kings of the 7 have already come and died. 1 is, John is taken into the future and is seen a vision of the reign of the one who is alive during the vision, the 6th king of the 3rd phase of Rome. The healing of the head wound began in 1929 when, through the Lateran Treaty, Mussolini gave the Pope his kingship back. So logically, all we have to do is count the popes since 1929 and find out where we are in the scope of the end time. John Paul II, the sixth papal king, was indisputably the most influential head since the healing. Recently given the title the Great and sainted in record time after his death, he organized ecumenism with the Lutheran Church and brought the Jesuits back into the graces of the Vatican. He was also the first pope to reach out to America for support in the overthrow of another nation, the USSR. He fully endorsed Marianism and claimed to be the living fulfillment of the third Marian prophecy. In the vision of Revelation 17, John was taken from his day into the future to see the judgment of the fallen church in the reign of the sixth king, the one who is in the vision. So the 5 previous kings had already come and gone, but the sixth is alive in the vision. Judgment for the dead began in 1844, but since this prophecy points to the judgment of the living church, and the church has a name on her forehead, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots, this prophecy must point to the time when the Protestant churches have joined forces with the harlot. If the woman is called a mother in the prophecy, then she must have daughters at this point in time. How evident can it be then that the sixth king in this lineup is the Pope who brought the first Protestant church to a negotiated settlement? The beast that the harlot rides in Revelation 17 must be in the time frame of when the Protestant daughters unite with the harlot. The first Protestant church to actually sign a joint declaration of faith with the harlot mother was the Lutheran Church in 1999. So isn't it conspicuous that the sixth papal king since the healing of the head wound is also who organized that ecumenical agreement with the Lutherans? John Paul II is the papal king who was in power when the first daughter was born to the harlot. And the mother can't be a mother unless she has daughters. So the beginning of the fulfillment of this prophecy couldn't have started until 1999, in the reign of the sixth king, John Paul II. The one who is alive during the time of the vision that John saw on the Isle of Patmos.